Welcome to the DisLove podcast with Vanessa and Chris. I'm Vanessa Ferguson.
And I'm Chris Johns.
We would like to welcome you to show number 151. And for any listeners joining us for the first time, our show features things we love at Disney. And in each episode has a guest who creates Disney magic for our listeners at home or on their Disney vacations. From vacation planners to product producers, our guests can bring Disney magic into your life. And as a reminder to our listeners, we appreciate if you take time to review us on Apple Podcasts or any other platform where you listen. That, of course, helps the show grow. And before we get started, Chris has a message for us.
Yes, our friends Kevin and Amanda with Where in the Park make scavenger hunt game packs. They're fun and challenging for anyone who thinks they know the parks like the back of their hands, and for complete newbies hoping to get a better appreciation for all of the detail put into creating these immersive experiences. They're also great for all ages. Besides Disney parks on both coasts, they carry packs for Universal parks, and we'll have more parks coming soon, including Dollywood and King's Dominion. Use the code DisLove10 through the link in the show notes to save 10% off your next order.
And I will make sure to put that code as well as the link in the show notes. And on today's show, we are going to be joined by Mallorie Wright from 1953 Designs. Her shop includes shirts, knot bands, bags, and all kinds of unique things like bento boxes with characters on it. Super excited to have her on the show. And Chris, there's a message from Mallorie as well.
Yes, she wants you to save 15% off. Use the code DisLove15 to save 15% off your next order.
And I will put the link in the show notes along with that code as well. So before we hear all the amazing things Mallorie has in her shop, we're going to talk about all the ways that you can enjoy the parks before or after they open to day guests. Some of these are ticketed events and some are for guests staying at certain resorts. We have talked about some of these different things in various capacities, but I thought for anyone who's maybe traveling to the parks for the first time, or maybe it's been a while since you've been, or you're just not familiar with all the programs, I thought it would be good to bring all of these early entry / after hours events into one show. So for us, I'm going to start with something that really involves something that we don't typically do. And when it comes to early morning or late night, what are we going to always pick, Chris?
Late night.
Yes. So we are definitely not morning people. Our daughter's not a morning person. So I'm going to talk about that first. One of the things that is nice if you have little ones that are early risers, or if you're an early riser yourself, if you are staying on property, you are able to get what's called early theme park entry. And this is for people staying at any Walt Disney World resort, as well as some other hotels, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. So those other hotels include places like Swan and Dolphin, any of the Dolphin properties, those Disney Springs resorts that are on Hotel Plaza Boulevard, like the Drury, the Hilton, Orlando, Lake Buena Vista Place, Shades of Green, of course, the higher end ones like the Waldorf Astoria and the Four Seasons. These all get this perk as well. So how it works is you are able to enter the theme parks 30 minutes early before the park opens to day guests. So what this means is that you're able to get in before the rope drop to the public, which allows you to go be ready to get in line for certain attractions. You, of course, if the park, let's say the park is opening at 9 o'clock and you're going at 8:30, you're going to want to plan extra time to leave your resort because the buses will be a little busy and you want to make sure that you get in front of those day guests. So 30 minutes allows you, I think this would be a good jump start for at least one or two rides.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's a perk that there's no charge for this. This is included as a Disney resort guest or a guest at any of those other resorts. And I'll put a link to the list of all of the resorts that this allows for. I'm going to be honest, we have never done the early entry.
Never.
I will be honest, we probably never will do the early entry.
Never.
But I know for some families this is great. And some of the other options we're going to discuss, which our family uses a lot, probably might not work for some of you listening. So the early entry is great because there's no cost and it applies to all the resorts. Some of these other ones are going to have limitations of who has access as well as cost. So there are a couple of different things that involve in the evening. The first is extended evening hours, and then there's the after hours events. So the extended evening hours is something that's nice, is you get 2 extra hours on different nights at different Disney parks. Now, typically these can vary. Usually Magic Kingdom will have these extended evening hours on Wednesdays. Epcot has them on Mondays, and then Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, they are very hit and miss. But most weeks you will see Magic Kingdom and Epcot have those hours. For instance, we're going next month we're just going on Monday through Wednesday, and we get in on a Monday night. So Epcot has those late night hours. We're staying at Boardwalk. We're going to head over there. Now, here's the catch. With extended evening hours, this is only for certain resorts. So this only applies if you're staying at a Disney Deluxe resort or at a Disney Deluxe Villa resort. So DVC members as well as just guests at the regular Deluxe resorts. So what is that? And then it also includes Swan and Dolphin, Swan Reserve, and Shades of Green. So one of the things that's nice with this is where the early entry is for all of those different resorts. The extended evening hours is only for those select Deluxe and Deluxe Villa resorts, which means I feel like there's not that many people there when you go for those extended hours.
Correct. It really opens up the park.
Yeah, so it is only for 2 hours, and there are certain attractions that they keep open. And rather than giving you the whole list, but it's the majority of the attractions. And when they have these extended evening hours, the attractions that have the lightning lane, they will open that queue up again at 6 p.m. So we've been able to get lightning lane for Tron during these extended hours. We got lightning lane for Cosmic Rewind, but we had to leave the park before our number got called. But you are able to get some of those lightning lanes for those attractions, as well as they have just the standard attractions open. Now, one of the things that is nice is that if you are there during the day, you can save some of those bigger ticket in the sense of longer wait times rides until the evening when you do these extended evening hours. We've also park hopped over to do these. It is nice. And again, it is a perk of individuals staying at the Deluxe resorts or the Deluxe villas. Now, there is no cost for this, which is nice, just like that early entry. So you really could, if your family were early risers, you could go hit up the park for that half hour early in the morning, go back to your resort, take a nap, and then if you are staying at one of those Deluxe resorts, come back in the evening, one of those particular nights. And I always check the calendar because it does vary. But as I mentioned, typically it's usually the Mondays at Epcot and Wednesdays at Magic Kingdom. Now, these are, again, a limited experience, and you always have to check to see when they may be having those. The next type of evening event is an after hours ticketed event. Now, this, instead of 2 hours, is 3 hours, but it does cost money to go to the after hours events. I can't even remember. We've been to 3 or 4 of them.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've been at Animal Kingdom. We've been at Magic Kingdom several times. And I feel like there might be one more. But we have done, now pre-COVID, they would do themed after hours nights. Those haven't returned yet. We had done a themed villains after hours night, which was super fun. Hopefully they make that return because they had a villains cavalcade and just some fun things with the villains after hours.
Oh, yeah, really nice.
Now, so the after hours, it does have a cost, but here's a nice thing is that they allow you to get into the park early. So for an after hours event, you're allowed to get in the park at 7 p.m. So even if you don't have a day ticket, and let's say the event starts at 9 p.m. at Magic Kingdom, you're able to get in at 7 p.m., which gives you 5 hours in the park instead of just the 3 for the event. Another thing that they do include with the after hours that's not in the early entry or the extended evening hours is that you have snacks, and they have the Disney ice cream bars, the Mickey sandwiches, the fruit bars, popcorn, and then pop and bottled water. So any of the bottled beverages, and they really push, they have that available for you to take as much as you want.
And that's really nice just because at that point, you don't want to have another meal, but you just want a snack, and it's perfect.
Yes, so you can have as many Mickey bars as you want. And if your family is one that, like, I like to always get a popcorn and an ice cream, and you can even take a drink with you to, like, I always usually have an extra drink in my bag that I take with me to go. So it's nice to be able to enjoy those. Those after hours events do cost, but they are less than what you would have at one of the parties, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Now, they do these at all 4 of the theme parks, and a new addition this year, which I just had a friend attend one of these, and I'm curious to see more, is Typhoon Lagoon has what they call the H2O Glow After Hours. So these run from 8 to 11 p.m., and just like with the after hours at the regular parks, you can get in 2 hours early, so you can get in at 6 o'clock. And they had fun little things. I noticed they had floaties that were characters and just some fun experiences for people that you wouldn't typically have at the water park. Another confession, we've never been to a Disney water park.
No, thank you.
Chris doesn't like water parks, but our daughter does. So I have a feeling that will be crossed off our list sometime in the next few years. So the after hours events, again, they do cost. Usually they'll have Disney, or they'll have DVC discounts, annual pass discounts. The prices vary depending on what time of year you go, but this has been something they've been doing for a while, so I'm sure that these are going to continue. Now, these, of course, are different than the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party or the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, because these are held year round, and the parties are different because the after hours are just giving you access to things that are already at the parks. The parties are going to have exclusive events. They're going to have exclusive entertainment. They have meet and greets with different characters that you're never going to be able to see in other times. At Halloween, they have the trick-or-treating. At Christmas, they have treats throughout the park, and not just the ice cream and the popcorn. They're going to have cookies and hot cocoa and cider and all kinds of different, like, holiday treats. So the parties are going to cost you more, but they are going to have more exclusive things compared to an after hours event. So that's something to think about. Typically, once the parties start at Magic Kingdom, you're not going to see a regular after hours usually at the same time, because they'll just do the after hours at the other parks. So we've done the after hours events and all the parties aside from Typhoon Lagoon. And I would say, depending on when you're going, I would do any of them. How about you, Chris?
I agree.
Now, it is nice because even though the after hours is only technically 2 hours, you get a ton of rides in. I will say we've done a lot of stuff in a short period of time during after hours. When we did our 4 parks adventure that we talked about in our last episode, that was something where we ended with an after hours event at Magic Kingdom, and we got a lot of stuff done.
Oh, really? I mean, in terms of just money for value, value for money, the after hours events are hands down a great option if you want to do something else in the area and then go, because number one, you're going to see a lot of characters. You're going to be able to walk up to many of them and get photos. Secondly, for rides, it's the same thing. You're going to be able to ride more rides in less time, and what you pay for that extra hour ticket is worth every penny.
Now, we have separate shows about the Christmas party and the Halloween party, which I'll put links in the show notes for those. But the last but not least, the final either early morning or late night event is Moonlight Magic, which this one is exclusive to DVC members. So you can't buy it. I guess technically you can buy it if you're DVC. And this is for unrestricted DVC owners. So owners that have bought direct from Disney, you are able to, essentially they've been doing these every 2 months or so at a different park. And I'll put a link to the show notes when we reviewed the one from earlier this year at Epcot. But you do have to pre-register, and how it works is that as a DVC member, you're only allowed to attend one event at a park per year. So like we attended an event a Moonlight Magic earlier this year at Epcot. So that means for the rest of 2024, we could not attend a Moonlight Magic at Epcot, but we're hoping to get some tickets to go to Hollywood Studios next month. And how this does is you're able to register for 5 guests or up to the number of people in your resort room. And if you do have a resort reservation, you get priority registration with DVC for these events. And these are where you really see some rare characters, which if you go back and listen to our show about Epcot, we saw Lumberjack Donald. Actually, what was the name that you gave Donald?
He's a lumber quack.
Yes, yeah, Lumber Quack. We saw Miguel from Coco, all kinds of neat characters. They had special viewings of the fireworks. You're going to have snacks. They had ice cream and beverages. You didn't get popcorn at those events, but those are also additional things. So if you are a DVC member, a direct DVC member, you're able to check out those Moonlight Magics as well. They do have them scheduled through the fall. Hopefully that's something that we see continue. But really, when you look at it, there's a wide variety of different options to get extra time in the parks when everybody else isn't there. And I highly encourage you. We build our trips often around these events because it just really, you get to maximize your time, like Chris was saying. And I feel like you get a better value and you're able to do other things. What's your overall thought?
If you want to see characters and rides more than once, not in the heat, it's a great option. I mean, it's just, to me, it either allows you to do a shopping day, a rest day. You can build in, if you want to go to SeaWorld and then come back, take a little break. But to me, hands down, it's the best because part of it is, Disney is expensive. It's an investment. But if your return is photos and ride experiences, it's hands down a great investment.
Yes. So whether you pick one of these options that is no additional cost or you decide to purchase a ticket for one of the special ticketed ones, you won't be disappointed at all. I know that all of you will enjoy it, and we've always had great experiences with all of these events. And I'll put links to all the other shows that discuss these different ones so you can learn more. And I'd like to thank our friends at touringplans.com, Undercover Tourist, and Getaway Today for some of the information we shared on today's show. And before we get our call up with Mallorie, Chris, we have another message.
Yes. The next time you go to Disney and you need a stroller or something else related for your small one, let our friends Eric and Alexa take care of you. They are Baby Quip independent quality providers, and they can provide you with anything that you need for your little one, from a stroller to, what is it that bed called? A car seat. What's the thing
crib?
A crib, yes. It's been a while. And they will help all this. And the great thing is that their equipment is new. It's delivered to you by friendly people, and it's clean. In our last trip that we took to Karis to Disney World, we had a brand new stroller that was easy to maneuver and was brand new. I mean, I think they pulled it right out of the plastic. And the great thing is it was delivered right to our resort by someone who was very friendly and on time. And again, that's Eric and Alexa with Baby Quip. They're your Baby Quip independent quality providers.
And I will put the link in the show notes for you to make your reservation today. And give us just a second and we'll get our call up with Mallorie. We'd like to welcome Mallorie to the show. Her shop, 1953 Designs, offers all kinds of great magical tees and accessories, from shirts and knot bands to bento boxes and bags. We are super excited to have her on the show. She's a military spouse and, of course, a Disney lover like all of us. And she's also a twin mom. Welcome to the show, Mallorie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, we always start off with a little bit about what people enjoy at the parks. So lately, we have been asking people, what is your favorite event at any Disney park?
Oh man, that's tough. There's so many good ones.
Yes.
Probably Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland. I've gotten to go twice now, and it's probably my all-time favorite. They have so many great villains, and the treat trails are wonderful, and the little forest that you walk through that's all lit up, and there's music and scents that they pump in to change the scene. It's so much fun.
Yeah, we've not made it to that, and we have a friend that is going to Disneyland this fall, and she waited too late. They were all sold out, which was such a bummer.
Oh, no. Yeah, they go really fast.
Now, of course, we want to hear all about your business and the products you offer connected to Disney.
Yeah, I have a ton of Disney stuff. I've loved Disney since I was a kid, so everything's kind of inspired by all things magical and Disney. I have a lot of t-shirts and a lot of knot bands, which are my favorite and top sellers. Those are all handmade in-house, and I love that I've been able to incorporate so many different movies and understated movies as well, like Hercules and Emperor's New Groove, which I feel never get enough love.
True.
So I have a ton of different knot bands and different themes. And then I have some new products that I've just started offering. I've been doing a lot of fanny packs and like mouse-shaped bags, and those have been wonderful. And recently discovered that you can actually have characters autograph them, and it doesn't bleed, it doesn't run or anything like that. So it's a new way for people to collect autographs.
What led you to start your business?
I started it when my boys, my twin boys, were in the NICU. It was an extremely stressful time, and I needed something happy, like a happy outlet. So I started designing shirts, and that kind of led to everything else, and it just kind of took off. Right after they got out of the NICU and were like doing really well, and it kind of has continued to grow and has never stopped, and I still love it every single day.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, we always like to ask how you think your products can add Disney magic to your customers' lives.
I love that my knot bands are just like a hint of Disney sometimes. Like there's hidden Mickey prints and very subtle Disney moments within these knot bands. So it's nice that you can wear them any day and not just in the parks. Like mouse ears, you'd have, it's mostly in the parks that you'd wear. But knot bands you can wear every single day. I know I do.
Right? Now, what are some of your favorite designs and or products? I know you talked about the knot bands and how you can wear them every day. What are some of your favorites in your shop?
I love the velvet knot bands. They're extremely soft and very comfortable. The shimmer ones are also really fun because you can pair those with literally everything, and I'm a big fan of sparkle.
Oh, for sure.
And gosh, other favorite designs and products. The mouse bags I love, the fanny packs, the new bento boxes. I plan on restocking and adding a few more prints of those because back to school is coming, and it's great for park snacks if you're on the go or have kids.
So one of the things that I always have to ask, if there's anything that goes on your head, I have a large head, and how is the comfort of the wear of your knot bands?
I also have a large head and can't fit most hats. If I do buy a hat, it has to be either like men's and have a size. The one size fits all does not work for me.
Right, me neither.
Yeah, so I made sure when I was making these that it fit everybody, which is kind of magical in itself because like my 7-year-olds can wear the knot bands, but then I can put it on my head and it would still fit and still be very comfortable, and I can wear it all day without even getting a headache.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, the Disney ears always give me a headache, so I've given up on wearing those. Really looking at all of your different products. I know that you mentioned like your bento boxes came out and they sell very fast. So how do your restocks work? Like if I'm ordering something, how soon should I keep an eye out?
I try to keep things in stock because I like to have a wide variety for everybody because not everybody likes the same things. But if something does sell out, I have a little box that you can fill out to be notified when something restocks. But then that also lets me know what people want more of. So that is extremely helpful.
Now, what is the turnaround time for your orders? Like if I was ordering a shirt or different things for a trip, how soon should I place an order?
If you want shirts or something printed like that, I would order probably 2 weeks in advance because I actually sent my designs out to a professional printer. So that way everybody gets the best quality for those. The knot bands, those are already made and ready and usually ship next day.
Perfect. And another question a lot of times people ask is when we had people who have shirts, what type of shirts do you use for your prints? And with that, also share with us your favorite design.
I actually use 2 different brands of shirts because I found that people really love the Bella Canvas shirts because they're light and perfect for summer. But then people also really love the Comfort Colors brand, and I do as well. That's probably my favorite brand for shirts. So I try to keep designs in both of those available, and also so there's a variety of colors. Oh gosh, favorite design? Probably the princess portrait with like the silhouettes, the little frames, kind of similar to what you can get at Disney World with your silhouette painting. And then the Pick Your Poison, that's my like all-time favorite. I made it forever ago, but it's still my favorite.
I noticed I'm a big Figment fan, and when I was looking at your shop, like on your main page of your website, you have that really cute Figment design right now as well too.
Oh, with the rainbows. Yeah, it's kind of like a pop art, Andy Warhol inspired. I love that one.
What's the best place for people to find when you're releasing new products?
I usually post everything on Instagram, and then that kind of filters out on the social media sites. And then I try to send out an email as well. So newsletters are a really good thing to be a part of on my website, because those will go out right around the same time an Instagram post will. So that way everybody's notified around the same time.
Now, do you offer, I know you already had some Christmas products on your website. Do you do holiday releases throughout the year?
I tend to leave most things up because I have people that shop kind of all over the world, and sometimes they just want to place one big order once a year, and so they can get a variety of things. Because I've had orders go out to like Japan and Australia and other countries. So yeah, I really try to save them on shipping. That way they can grab everything. But I do also tend to release new holiday designs each season as well.
Now, with that, you mentioned people, both in America as well as around the world ordering. Where can people go to find more of what you make?
You can find everything that I offer on my website. It's 1953designs.com.
Perfect. And I will make sure we put the link to your website as well as all your socials right in the show notes. And it was so great to hear all about your products. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
Thank you again to Mallorie for joining us today. Don't forget to use the code DisLove15 to save 15% off your next order.
And now we are on to our 2-minute trivia and our wisdom from Walt quote. And Chris defaulted to me to create a trivia question this week because he couldn't find one. So I have one related to our topic.
Vanessa, we've done over 150 shows.
Yes.
There's only so many facts about Walt Disney World.
Oh, there's thousands. There's millions of facts about Walt Disney World.
Well, I only know 150, so I'll try hard for next show. But you asked me a question for a little switcheroo.
Okay. So I found something related to the topic that we talked about today. Before they created early theme park entry and extended evening hours, there used to be a little thing called extra magic hours. Do you remember those?
I do.
So we used to do them a lot. And as we alluded to and talked about earlier, we did evening ones, but they used to have them in the morning and the evenings. What year did Disney do away with extra magic hours?
2007.
Not even close. Am I supposed to give you a over under like you do for me?
That would be nice.
Okay, I'll give you a plus or minus 3 years, and you're not close with the 2007.
2014.
Wrong.
I give up.
In 2020. So after COVID, the extra magic hours never made a return, and they instead instituted early theme park entry and extended evening hours.
So how are those different?
So the early entry is for everyone, and the extended evening are only for the deluxe and the deluxe villa, where extra magic hours were for anyone staying at any of the Disney park or Disney hotels.
Makes sense.
And the extra magic hours used to be longer too, because we had stayed at the park. Sometimes they'd be till like 2 a.m, so they were longer as well. So now we are on to our wisdom from Walt quote. And Chris, I guess you are up with a quote.
Yes. The greatest moments in life are not concerned with selfish achievements, but rather with the things that we do for people that we love and esteem and whose respect we need.
Great quote from Walt as usual. And don't forget to check out all of our other episodes on our Buzzsprout page and follow us on social media for more Disney magic. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the DisLove podcast with Vanessa and Chris. I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Chris. This podcast is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or its holdings, and it is intended for entertainment purposes only.